Hello, Dustin Hillis here, Chief Strategy Officer at Tough Stump Technologies. We're at the Tough Stump Rodeo. This is the full day number 2. We have people out at the lanes. We're dropping dogs out of airplanes. We have drones underwater. It's wild and crazy, and we're so excited to interview the people that are making it happen here today. We have Jimmy here, and he is not only the flight commander. What is your proper title? Flight chief commander for the drones?
Air boss.
Air boss. Sorry, I'm non-military. So we got Jimmy as the air boss, and also Jimmy is the head of our business development here at Tough Stump Technologies. And Jimmy, what all do we have here that's being used at the rodeo?
Sure, yeah, we'll talk about ATOS, but first a little clarification here. The dogs are robotic, and I do like the name Drone Commander over Air Boss, so I might introduce myself as such.
That's much better. He's the Drone Commander from now on.
In order to command these drones, I have to track them, which leads us to ATOS. So ATOS is a UHF tracker.
Here, get a little closer, take a look at this.
Assets and people that are unwilling or incapable of being tracked by an ATAC phone or an expensive Man-A radio. So we developed this system to be able to track everything.
Can you see
that matters anywhere on the planet. So the way that works is you take this transponder right here. It's a GPS receiver, a radio transmitter. It receives its location via GPS. It transmits that location via radio frequency back to this receiver called a command link. This command link pairs to ATAC either via Bluetooth, data hub, or USB-C, depending on the mission requirements. Once that happens inside of ATAC, I can track all of my tags in real time with an update rate of every second.
So, for example, is that going to be on something today?
Yes.
Okay.
Every single drone will have one of these tags.
How do you do that?
So there's a mounting process where we just go ahead and find the appropriate spot on the drone for the tag where it will not interfere with any of its control or avionics. It's relatively easy. The tag transmits at an extremely low power rate, so it does not have any electromagnetic interference.
Yesterday, the Skydio drone, so go watch the YouTube video from yesterday, and you'll see on the Skydio drone on the leg, they had the ATOS tag taped to the leg of the drone. So
that's right. Yeah.
Just to give you an example.
Right. The easiest way is to tape it on as you would previous versions of drone trackers. So we do have a mounting solution that's adhesive that I don't have here because it's currently on drones during this exercise.
And we were talking about even if a company like Skydio has TAC built into it, if the drone runs out of power, it's a one-way mission to go see something, and it lands, you still can find it even if the drone doesn't have power. So that was one use case yesterday.
Yes, so many drones are tied into UAS Toolkit, which allows their feed and location to be pumped into an ATAC network.
Yep.
However, that function ceases when the connectivity to the drone ceases.
Yep.
So in the event of a loss of link or interference or jamming, at the time when you need to track that drone the most, you were unable to do so on the ATAC network. That's where ATOS comes in.
Okay. What else do we have here? Kind of walk us through some of this.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
come over here, Mary, a little bit.
everything that we do comes back to ATAC, and so the way that we addressed that problem of ATAC understanding was first by physical education of first responders, public safety, military, special operations, conventional, etc., like doing the actual in-person training for those individuals. That became prohibitively expensive, and honestly, we only have 14 people, so we could not do that as well as we would like to. So what we did was we made an online learning management system.
So this what this is right here.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep, it's called TAKU University. It teaches you the basic to intermediate level of TAC operations.
Okay.
And that way the prospective user can get trained up on TAC remotely and not have to have a in-person trainer there.
It looks like a certification. What does that mean?
So at the end of it, you will get a certification that you've been fully trained on ATAC. There are also modules, there's several modules inside of the training program that have testable objectives at the end. That's culminating in the final exercise that produces a graduation certificate.
Who would be people that would benefit from this? What would be some examples?
So, for example, the Army has a problem where they are going to ATAC as a whole, but they don't have enough trainers. They have something like 1 trainer for every 1,000 soldiers, thus making it almost impossible for soldiers to get basic and intermediate level of training on ATAC. That's where TAKU can and would come in, and is. Also, first responders, limited budgets. Maybe they can't afford to get a training team out there. Maybe they're dispersed doing their jobs across the state or a county, and they couldn't get everyone together, even if the money was there. This is a solution for them, as well as numerous others.
That's cool. Now, tell us a little bit about Artemis. What is Artemis? What does that mean?
So Artemis is the god of the hunt. Don't look that up. I'm not sure if that's entirely right.
So that's a good name. I like that.
It is a Greek god or Roman. Again, don't look it up. Just trust me. So Artemis is a fixed-wing 3D mapping platform.
So this is what the drone looks like right here.
That's right. It's a Group 1 fixed-wing platform. They're hand-launched.
Right here.
Yes,
Okay.
that's right. So the need that we were trying to fill here was the need of maneuver forces to be able to get real-time imagery, collect it, and then load it onto TAC. So in the way that things work at the moment is if I am a maneuver unit and I require imagery of a town that I'm going to enter into the next day, I would have to go request a satellite pass, which I would most likely not get. With Artemis, you can do this yourself. You can launch Artemis, it can fly up to 20 kilometers, map an area, come back, and then you can pull out the SD card, process the images, and then go ahead and load it into ATAC for mission planning.
That's great. What are some of the integrations we have? So tell us about the rodeo. What is the rodeo? How does it work? And how are you and Tough Stump integrating with the idea behind the rodeo?
So the rodeo started as an internal exercise for us to train on new equipment in order to better support those vendors and help them do training across the DoD. Other agencies, other vendors became interested in what we were doing and wanted to observe the training that we were doing and add to it. So after 5 years, we're at the point where we have maxed out the location that we're at. We have folks here from Texas, we have folks from Sweden, we have folks from DoD across the country, and it continues to grow.
How many people are here this year?
So we are at about 250 people. We cannot get much more on this property, so we are doing the best we can, but that's it. Yeah.
So if somebody wants to come next year, they should go ahead and give you a call.
They should definitely. So to give you an idea here, we opened up registration in February, and we were sold out in April, and we're making case-by-case exceptions for government and vendors up until last week.
What are some of the cool things that are getting integrated around at this rodeo?
So you mentioned the robot dog earlier.
Yeah.
So we have a C-47. So if anybody's seen Band of Brothers, that's the aircraft in Band of Brothers that sends them out over Normandy. So we have one of those. I don't know how we got it, but we have one. So we've got one of those flying out of Missoula. On board that aircraft is a robot dog that's wrapped up in a parachute bundle. And that parachute bundle will go out, it will exit the aircraft, it will land, it will be tracked by ATOS. It will have a data radio on it that will communicate its location. Well, I'm sorry, it will be tracked by ATOS, thank you.
Okay.
It will have a data radio on it as well as a sensor package that'll communicate video feed as well as other sensor inputs of interest back here to the operations center, which we will then pump into this viewing tent. So if you look over there, you'll see the picture that we're going to end up using. When the dog is dropped, we'll see its location on ATAC from ATOS, and then once the dog is de-rigged and operational, we'll see its video feed on ATAC.
And each one of these are different mission sets, right? So one of them's the dog. What are the other ones?
So if you go downhill from where the dog is, so the dog is where the two green hikers are. So if you go down there and go to that main road.
So from the blue line.
Thank you. Yeah, where the blue line and the main road intersect, and you go south, you get to Alder. And so if you follow that green line up the mountain, we have a communications relay we have a communications relay that's been set up by some of our partners here. I might miss a few of them, but we've got Silvis, Trail Square, Persistent, Domo Tactical, GoTenna, among a few others that are out there that set up a radio relay that allows for communication across this valley.
Okay, and what's the orange one there?
So the orange one is a lost, that is an FP correction, that is an FPV assault lane. So we are going to have an FPV launch and perform an
What is
attack.
FPV, just for
Yes.
non-military people?
So first-person view drones. So these drones are operated straight visual. They do not need any avionics. They are flown with goggles as if you are inside, as if you are flying the drone. This mitigates the need for GPS and also allows for due to its performance, allows for it to carry a payload that could be kinetic or non-kinetic, and that payload will impact a target to deliver an effect on that target, and that's what we'll see out there. And again,
cool.
and that will be tracked by ATOS.
Yep.
So we'll see that happen.
So you can see all of this happening. If it were happening at the same time, which I think it will be,
very close.
you can see it all simultaneously happening on one image, which is the advantage of TAK and the advantage of ATOS.
Yeah, that is correct. So the TAK is the platform to where we will view all of this as it happens.
Cool. Well, thank you, Jimmy, for everything. So just for anybody that's interested in connecting with you, learning more about Tough Stump, how can they get more information?
So the best thing to do is get on our website, which is www.toughstump.com. We have our menu of options, the things that we provide. Use the contact us function on there and communicate what you need from us. You can also follow us on Instagram and on LinkedIn and Facebook. So I look forward to hearing from you via any of those venues.
Cool. Thanks, brother. Appreciate everything you're doing. You're doing a great job.
Appreciate it.